welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to a big video today, guys, because we are going to start building up to the big weekend, the crucial weekend that is coming for Barca as we will face off against Atletico Madrid. We're going to be talking today about some of those big decisions that Xavi has to make before that game regarding Ousmane Dembélé, who could be about to make a return to the team. We're going to be discussing both sides of that argument. There's also discussion on possible debutants this weekend with the likes of Adama, Traore and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang just waiting for that big opportunity and their first appearance in a Barca shirt. It is all coming your way and plenty more too. So let's get to it. But indeed, guys, what I do want to kick off today's video by discussing is the defence, because I think that's an area that we've all been wanting to talk about over these past few days, because I think in January, particularly there towards the end of the January transfer window, that was the one key addition, that one big signing that just got away. I feel like if we would have brought in that extra defensive option, if we had managed to sign a defender, it would have been a perfect window for us. And I think that in general it came down to the fact that low-cost defenders, they were just a lot harder to come by than forwards at the end of the day, especially in mid-season. Many clubs, they're reluctant to let defensive players leave their clubs for the sake of a loan deal or a low-cost deal, as you saw there with Ajax, who simply did not want to let Tagliafico go in the end. And I think, to be honest, heading into the weekend against Atletico Madrid, you're already looking at some of the news from the past few days, and already you're asking some questions about our defensive cover, about the players that we're going to have at our disposal. Just yesterday, it was confirmed by the club that Clement Lenglet has suffered a hamstring problem, which, according to the media, that's going to keep him out there for up to 5 weeks of action. So Lenglet is going to be nowhere near the team for several weeks to come. This comes as well after Alejandro Balde, who featured in the international break for Barca B, finally got some football, but he only lasted just 10 minutes, subbed off there with an ankle problem, and that could keep him out for up to 6 weeks. Already here, the injury list continues to grow. We've also got Titi on the sidelines for several months to come. You've also got Eric Garcia out right now, although hopefully he's not going to be out for too much longer. But quite clearly this weekend, we are lacking in defensive cover. We are lacking in options there, especially on the bench. And I do wonder, is this the opportunity? Is this the big break in the first team that could arrive for Mika Marmo, the promising 20-year-old left-footed centre-back who can also play at left-back as well? That should be stressed. And we have mentioned him here on the channel many times this season, with Xavi said to be very keen on the youngster. And could this finally be his chance? The opportunity with these injuries, because we will need some sort of defensive cover from somewhere. However, despite not being able to land a defender in January, what we did do is pick up 2 very exciting forward options there late on in the window. And of course the question is going to be asked, which one of those, or maybe even both, will make their debut at the Camp Nou on Sunday? And of course, Adama Traore, he's the one who's had slightly more time to prepare himself. He will have spent the whole week there with the team training. And the question will be, are you going to call upon all of that pace, that raw pace and power, and also that directness from the very beginning against Atletico Madrid? Is Adama Traore somebody who could really cause them problems if maybe in the game Atletico start to come forward, start to get on top of us in the game? Adama could be used, like we discussed yesterday, to get us out of some trouble. But of course as well, there is the question of Aubameyang, because the club right now are said to be quite cautious about Aubameyang. They are looking at him very closely. They're monitoring him in training, because given his lack of playing time recently, he's not had too many minutes. It's been quite a long time since he last actually played. They don't want to throw him back in too quickly. They don't want him to have any injury problems, of course. That would be the worst possible way to start his Barca career. But I do have to say that throughout this week, Aubameyang, he looks desperate to get out there. He looks absolutely determined to give himself a real chance of at least being involved on Sunday, because you look at his week so far, he trained with the team on Tuesday. That was before he'd even been announced, by the way. He was straight into training as quickly as he possibly could. He then trained again with the team on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, even when the team were given a day off, there was no training scheduled there, Aubameyang was the one coming in, training on his own, and this was even before his official presentation at the Camp Nou happened at midday. So quite clearly you can see that he's motivated, he's very hungry, and I am excited to see what these new signings can bring. But of course, guys, when you are talking about forwards, when you're talking about players that could indeed be involved on Sunday, here we are again. We are talking about Ousmane Dembélé and the latest on his situation, because there have been plenty of meetings, plenty of internal discussions right throughout this week. Since deadline day, of course, when Dembélé refused to leave the club, he rejected several offers that came his way because he is determined to see out his contract before leaving the club in the summer. And Barca have been desperately trying to find some sort of solution to decide what to do with Dembélé for these coming months. And let me just make it absolutely clear, both Joan Laporta and Mattia Almani, two central figures, of course, who are involved in all of our planning, they are 100% completely in favour of sending Dembélé to the stands for the rest of the season. They both feel as though Dembélé has disrespected the club and also us fans in the process. They believe that Dembélé should never wear the Barca shirt again. But crucially, Xavi doesn't seem to share the same view, because as I've said since the beginning of this Dembélé situation, in fact, I think for me, Xavi has always been in favour of keeping Dembélé in his squad. I think at the end of the day, he wants to have him available if he needs him, and despite the additions that we have made in January, I still believe here and now, if the decision is Xavi's, he would rather keep Dembélé in his plans this season. And so comes the debate, because on the one hand, you want the club to have strong principles, and we as fans, you know, the way that we value Barca, the way that we value the club, we want us to stick to those principles no matter what. There is a zero tolerance policy there towards disrespecting the club, not respecting the badge, not respecting the fans, and a place where you've been supported for many, many years. And that goes for any player. That's the message here that we're trying to send out. So the question would be, if you fold now, what does that say to other players in the future? If you allow Dembélé now to walk back into the team, is that the kind of strength the club want to be showing? Are you effectively letting their Dembélé and his agent win? Because let's not forget, they rejected those offers in January, potentially because they knew that we would give in, that they in the end would end up having the power, that Dembélé wouldn't be sent to the stands, so we'd effectively be giving them exactly what they wanted. However, and this is the very difficult part, because what we have to try and do here is separate the emotion of this saga. Because believe me, this has been an emotional roller coaster. Over so many weeks, so many months now, we have been in this situation with Dembélé. Because on the other hand, you'd say, but you're still paying him. For the next 6 months, we still have to pay Dembélé over 200,000 a week. So it's not even as if it's a small amount here. These are massive wages. And for that kind of money, are you going to let him sit back and do nothing? Still not earn that money? Or do you at least try and get something out of him? Do you at least try and get some sort of value from him? Something that we're not going to get, of course. He's going to leave the club for free. All the money that we spent to get him here, and he's going to walk away for nothing. But in these final few months, I think in Xavi's mind, he's thinking, okay, can he give us something now? Maybe in these final few months, pushing, of course, the Champions League, pushing for that top 4 place. Should Dembélé be now brought back in? And I think in the end, honestly, it is such a difficult and complex situation, because I can see certainly both sides of this, and I think, to be honest, neither situation really suits us that well, and that is why I really did wish that we could have got this all sorted out, all of this wrapped up in the January transfer window. But here we are today, we are still having to make these very difficult calls, judgment calls here, and I think it is still going to divide the fan base, and even internally at the club, there will still be very much a divide. But I think in the end, what we have heard right the way through this week from the media, and what we expect there from Xavi Hernandez, I think on Sunday, in all honesty, what we are going to see is Ousmane Dembélé returning to the squad against Atletico. We're going to see him wearing the Barca shirt again, potentially. We're going to see him returning to the camp now. And the other question, of course, you'd ask, with a big attendance expected on Sunday, if Dembélé does play, if he does step out onto that pitch, what kind of reception, what kind of welcome from the crowd is he gonna get? So that right there, guys, is all of the big talking points and some early build-up to what is a crucial game. And by the way, nothing, absolutely nothing, should distract us from that. Our primary objective and our single goal should be, win that game on Sunday. All of the rest of the noise, all of the rest of the speculation, all of that kind of stuff, put it to one side and focus on a massive, massive game in our season. Please do let me know your thoughts on our defensive issues, on the lack of cover that we have right now, and whether you would include Mika Marmol. Also, let me know your thoughts on whether Adama, Traore or Aubameyang will debut for the club this weekend. And of course, please, do let me know down below whether you would bring Dembele back in. I will wait for those thoughts, guys. And of course, I'll see you tomorrow for the big match preview. Thank you for watching. And thank you for your support. But until next time, as always, Vishka El Barça.